Hello, good evening. Welcome to another edition. We're in the 160s, I think, of CantinaMX podcast, maybe 164, 165. I'm not sure where we are. My name is John Jagu, fresh off producing uh, a pre and post basketball game here in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Heading over to my sister's compound where I'll have to step off for a little bit because she has a lot of doggies and they make all kinds of noise when I come in. So it's going to be quite noisy. I mean, I don't want to impede the audio quality that we have here on the CantinaMX podcast. So I'll step away for a little bit. Before we do that, I want to talk about topics tonight. We're going to jump into the Libertadores final between Boca and River, another Super Clásico, probably the second biggest Super Clásico on the planet. Second only, of course, to the Pumas Tigres Clásico that is played every year, the Clásico Universitario, as we all know.
The cat fight.
The clash, the feline clash.
We have a lot of things to discuss. Real Madrid's coach Lopetegui looks like is bounced. Could he be on the short list for Mexico? What about Tata Martino? Now Argentina has hired and fired him at least twice that I know of, and now they want to hire him and probably fire him again for a third time. He was the coach of Argentina in the Copa America Centenario. So I'm not sure he would want to go back into that. We'll talk a little MLS playoffs about FC Dallas. Unfortunately, did not advance last night, losing 2-1 to Portland Timbers. Down 10 men, Portland were able to get the 2-1 win. And of course, we talk about Copa MX, Cruz Azul. Where are all the Cruz Azul fans are slowly but surely. It's like the 17-year cicada are starting to reemerge and make noise. We haven't seen or heard from them in a long time, but they are back winning. They were at Fueron al Ángel last night in Mexico City. They took the Copa to the Ángel last night. That's how excited Cruz Azul fans were to win Copa MX in 2000. Who listens to us live on YouTube every Thursday night, as well as downloading from the podcast center at iTunes or Google Play. Loyal subscribers to the CantinaMX podcast. Of course, we tip our hat to you for being a loyal subscriber. And I tip my hat to Joel Aceves, who joins us from Orange County, California. Joel, how are you this evening, sir?
Very good, John. Right here, waiting all these great matches that are lining up for us. But
now, Joel,
like you said, yes.
Go ahead. Now,
No, yes.
We had a special Sunday edition of the CantinaMX podcast where we reiterated your Jornada 2 sentiment that Chivas fans should go ahead and go on loan for the season for another team. And we'll talk about that a little later. But it looks like that you were very prescient in your thoughts on that. But you're right. Some huge games, probably. Like I mentioned, outside of Real Madrid, Barcelona, I think that the Copa Libertadores final, for the first time in their history, Boca Juniors and River Plate are going to play each other not just in the Libertadores, but in the Libertadores final. I couldn't think of a bigger match to be played in the world outside of course, Puebla, Chiapas. I mean, seriously. I mean, is there a bigger match than that?
No, it's pretty hectic, and they're already talking about they're not going to allow the away team fans to attend.
So it'll be River Plate fans at the Monumental.
Yes.
Now and so they have the socios, right? So they're gonna be verified.
Yes, sir.
And River Plate fans at the Bombonera.
Yeah, like the hinchas, they're banned from going, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could still go, but I don't think you're gonna be able to go as like the Barra Bravas are gonna be able to.
Right.
They do their caravan walk into the stadium, and for a match like that would just be like it'd be like almost civil war, just to get in the stadium.
Sure.
It's really crazy over there.
Well, I mean, security is always a concern when they play. Even when they play in the Torneo de Verano or whatever it is, a little preseason tournament that they play
Oh, and
every November.
I've seen those. You know, and before I forget, this is probably the one chance that River fans have been waiting for, because when they went down to when they were relegated, I mean, Boca hasn't let them forget that. They had that
They
song,
have not.
they even did a song, tell me how it feels, to be in second division and all that. But
That's right.
if they were to beat them for this, for this prestigious cup, to have this one win over them, then they're gonna have, just what they were waiting for. But if they
You know,
lose, oh man, Boca's gonna pile the hurt.
I would want River Plate to win just so that Tano can have just a little bit, just a little bit of happiness, just a little bit of happiness for
El Tano
our good
Pasman,
friend Tano.
that's right.
Now, yeah. So Joel, we have River Boca, which is a big game no matter what. Security is always a concern. It's a Libertadores final, number 2. Number 3, it's gonna be going on at the same time as the G20 summit in Buenos Aires. So security is going to be stretched very thin. So you can understand why they wouldn't want to have a clash of supporters that week, especially in Buenos Aires.
Well, who's making this decision though? Because if it's CONMEBOL, I'm sure they're worried for their tournament to be marred by violence and
Oh
craziness.
no, that's nothing new for that. It's obviously within the federation and even the clubs.
Yeah, this is definitely not a surprise that they would do this. And Beto Chiquis Campa joins us from his palatial digs in Kyle, Texas, just
Yeah,
southeast of the Greater Austin area.
yeah. What I'm saying is like Argentina, the Argentinian league, they don't mind, you know, they have a Clásico every whatever, so they don't mind having fights and violence and all kinds of craziness. That's normal. But
Well,
CONMEBOL
not that
Libertadores,
they don't mind it. It's just
well, yeah, I
it's
mean it's a standard operating procedure. But CONMEBOL, this is the first time this happens, and they're preparing for it. And are they the ones taking the measures to not look like a disgrace? In Argentinian league, they just handle it because there's no other way to. Because that's sort of messed up to not let visiting fans come to the stadium.
well. I mean,
That's
they could certainly dress in the opposing team's colors and pretend that
yeah.
they're River fans or Boca fans, and then when they walk in, they strip their colors to say, "I have foiled your plans to only allow River supporters." Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen there. It's going to be a very interesting topic. Now, Beto, a team that's near and dear to your heart. Of course, I'm talking about Cruz Azul winning the Copa MX. Have you noticed, Chiquis, that the Cementeros, the Albañiles, the Pita Pita Maquinita boys are starting
Uh,
to puff out their chest just a little bit more than usual? I mean, because they really over the past 3 or 4 years have kind of gone into hiding. We really hadn't heard too much from Cruz Azul fans, and I'll be honest, as someone who grew up in Mexico in late '70s, early '80s, I was sick to death of freaking Cruz Azul, and it was probably the team that had. I probably didn't like Cruz Azul more than I didn't like America. So it is stirring up a lot of bad memories for me to see all these Cruz Azul fans emerge, and pretend, oh, we were Cruz Azul fans all along, where they've been in hibernation for the past 4 years.
yeah, the few that I've seen it's been quite obvious that they're coming out of their cave, and I think there are some faithful ones that attended the stadium, especially that clip of the old man uh, crying and celebrating with passion. I think there's a little bit of that of the faithful, but yeah, there's definitely the ones they've been in their little basement and they're emerging all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Cruz Azul, obviously, and Cruz Azul is a team that Joel and I have been bullish on, at least for the past couple of
Yes.
seasons, and they're in second place right now. It looks like they're locks to make the league. I'm not necessarily sure that they would want to end up in first place because things don't go so well for them when they end up in first place in the at least in the short seasons. But Cruz Azul, there was Pelaez comes in, no drama. He has his entire roster built and ready to go before they even do preseason. There's no last second jornada ocho additions to the roster that has always seemed to plague them in the past.
Cut the
And
dead weight.
exactly. I mean, and even the players that we thought were disgraceful has-beens. They've been playing really well. They have good coaching. They have excellent general management. Ricardo de Pelaez, in my opinion, is the foremost directivo, I guess, in Mexican soccer right now. And
Oh yeah.
if I were a team, I would love to have him as the guy running the show
Hey
for
John,
my
what
team.
was it?
Yes, sir.
6 months in that he already has. They're lifting a trophy.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is his first season with Cruz Azul. Not even 6 months. The first season
Yeah.
he's with Cruz Azul, and not only do they already have a trophy, they're having a great season. There's they're playing well. It's a different looking Cruz Azul. They have good coaching. They have good players. It's a solid team, and they play Pumas over the weekend. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if the game ends up being a draw, because I think a draw will end up giving both of them the ticket that they need punch to go into the Liguilla. And I got to tell you, the other people that are excited with this new and improved Liga MX squad of Cruz Azul are the TV folks, because as Joel and I talked about on Sunday night in the special Jornada Dominical edition of the CantinaMX podcast, the teams that are in the top of the Liguilla are teams that generate a lot of eyeballs for TV, and Cruz Azul being one of those. So the Liguilla is shaping up to be one that could be, it's definitely going to be memorable, but I think it could be one of the most watched, at least in recent times, just because of the fact that there are so many of the quote-unquote more popular teams involved. And Cruz Azul, of course, is one of them, and they are the now Copa MX champions, beating Monterrey 2-0. And as you guys pointed out just before we got on the air, it seems like that this tournament is taking on more prestige, but the fans, especially the fans that win it, seem to be enjoying the fact that they're winning some trophies.
Yeah, like the Chi Hermanos, you thought they would have won the Champions League tournament the way they celebrated at La Minerva. They all
Exactly.
showed up. I mean, there was a bigger celebration than Pachuca's league title win. And for Cruz Azul, because they had won the Copa not so long ago. But this time, it's like, all of a sudden, it just means more to them. And I guess because they've been waiting for this turnaround to their club's misfortunes.
I think just not being a subcampeon is something. So them winning the championship is at least they won a championship.
Yeah, and the match was. So, I'm sorry, Chicas, you were saying subcampeón, and this was a match between subcampeonísimos.
Yeah.
I think the stadium for Monterrey, since they built it, they've had 6 finals, and I think they lost 5 of those 6. There was a match between subcampeonísimos.
Oh yeah, I mentioned on Twitter, I think with the Cantina account, I said it's either going to be Monterrey losing a final again at home, or Cruz Azul being another subcampeón. You can't have them both. And Cruz Azul was the one that came up with the good results. And once again, Monterrey loses a final at home.
Now, to be fair to Cruz Azul, I mean, it's not like they haven't won anything. I mean, they did win a Copa MX when the tournament first was reborn, and they also won a Conca Champions. So it's not like they've had a dearth of trophies. I mean, they have won trophies, and they have won them recently. So let's, much as we all
but the
love
celebration,
to
John.
Cruz Azul,
If you see the celebration among the fans, I think they're starting to believe in this team. I think they got humbled before when they won, and it was like, yeah, whatever. And then they ate a lot of humble pie.
right?
And
Yeah,
now
la Copa MX Que pinche Copa MX ni que nada. And now they're like at the Angel parading the trophy around.
Yeah, there's this talk of doblete, which is something Pelaez said at the start of the season. He's like, "We're going for the doblete, we're doing this," and they're beginning to believe they're eating them. But I wanted to give a quick rundown because to me this is the biggest. This is the first time where we have two big clubs going at it. So I'm gonna give a rundown of Copa MX since it was relaunched in 2012. So 2012 was Sinaloa, you know, winning over Correcaminos, and then you had Cruz Azul beating Atlante, who was still in second division. Then you had Morelia Atlas, and then you with Morelia winning. Then you had Tigres beating Oaxaca. I didn't even know Oaxaca made that final, man. That was 2014. Um, and then you had Santos beating Puebla in 2014. Uh, Puebla, that was with Cuauhtemoc Blanco before he went to become the governor. As they beat a Chepo-led Chivas 4-2. And then Chivas beat León at the start of the Mati era. And then you had Veracruz Necaxa, you know. And then and then we have Querétaro winning their first ever cup with El Rey Midas Bucetich, and they beat Chivas. They beat them in penalties. Then you had Chivas again. So they're if Chivas has been consistent at least at the cup, and then they beat Morelia in penalties. Uh, and then you had Monterrey beating Pachuca, which you could say that's kind of a big match, but I wouldn't say as big as like Cruz Azul Monterrey. Just because Cruz Azul is one of the big five and more historic, and Monterrey's been one of the up and comers along with Pachuca. But yeah, so wait, Monterrey Pachuca in 2017, Clausura 2018 was Necaxa Toluca, and then Cruz Azul Monterrey. So we're beginning at least for these last these last editions have been the ones without smaller teams making it.
Yeah, Morelia sort of being a smaller,
But yeah,
and then
but Morela's been constant in first division. They're not like those teams that go up and down. You know,
yeah,
like you had Oaxaca and Correcaminos and Sinaloa. You have this run of some of these teams. Veracruz was that one club that uh, I don't know how they snuck in there. Necaxa also wishy-washy, but I mean overall we're beginning to see it shape up where the bigger teams are beginning to take it more serious, and we might end up where you're not gonna see the Oaxacas and the Correcaminos in the final anymore, because the teams do take notice, you know, and it starts becoming a priority where it's like, okay, we have to live for tournament. Why not the Copa MX? We have to win something this season. Let's make it this.
yeah. And I don't know how, as far as taking it seriously, I don't know how much these teams. I don't think they're putting their starting lineup every single match. I
No,
know
no.
Chuy Corona didn't play in the goal for Cruz Azul, um, but the rest of their teams seem to be their starters. The same with Monterrey. But I think earlier in the tournament, they still play a lot of their younger, um, not non-starters, because it is Copa MX. But yeah, I think the tournament, because of these two teams, did lift up his status a little bit. But I'm seeing a lot of people still criticize Cruz Azul just for the passion in which they celebrated, stating that it's just Copa MX. Win
But
the league and then you can celebrate a little bit more like this instead.
yeah, and but see that I saw the same thing happen to Chivas,
Oh
and
yeah,
and and they ended up getting the doblete. So I mean, what do you think happens if you do win the doblete? That's something America hasn't done.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, and I think someone tweeted that as well. Like America loses to Juarez, I think is who they lost to. And if they don't win the league, which could very easily happen, they're losing their their clout.
I saw
That's
a tweet
some
from what happened.
no, that's something they need to realize, and it's happened multiple times, multiple
I
seasons where
Yeah, I
they
saw a tweet from an Americanista, and he was saying we need to stop pretending like we don't care about this cup. That we just line up whatever squad. He's like, we've been eliminated with some of our best players, and he did a lineup of yeah, because they've reached the semifinals a few times. Um, and so I mean, we're beginning to see this now with fans, more and more fans taking it serious, and there is this rivalry aspect where it's like, okay, you're gonna want to do this, and then later on you're gonna be talking about el triplete, when when Copa MX, when the league, when CONCACAF, which is a good thing for, I think for the clubs and the fans to become more demanding and of their teams. Because before for I think for a long time they were just happy to make it to Liguilla. That seemed to be like, okay, at least we had a good season.
one thing also I think it's the mentality of like the bigger teams like America. And we see it with the national team with Mexico is that they go into these games like with Juarez and these second division teams and think, okay, the game's going to be handed to them or they're going to automatically get the win without working. And these Juarez teams, like these second division teams, are coming in hungry to prove themselves against the bigger clubs. And America can't just do that, can't just have that mentality that they're going to eventually get a goal and pass on. I think that's been their problem.
Yeah,
But
but also like there's you see this lack of pressure from them to do good, where it's like in a big club, like say you're Real Madrid, you were to lose Copa del Rey against a really weak team, they would never hear the end of it. Whereas like in Mexico, you could lose in Copa MX, and it used to be where it's like the fans wouldn't care as long as you're doing good in league, or if you were to pick up in the league, they'll just forget. But I think we're beginning to see a change here where it's like fans are beginning to be like just more demanding, and it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be losing to Oaxaca or Correcaminos or any second division team.
yeah, and yeah, America should feel the heat. Like if they lose Copa Mex and they see uh, like a Cruz Azul or a Chivas win, and then they don't come back and win the league, like America doesn't come back and win the league, then that's a whole year of failing twice, pretty much. And a big club shouldn't do that. So I think the pressure's going to be on for America during this Liguilla to win, and it's not going to be easy because Cruz Azul wants the doblete. Uh, you have well, as far as contenders, we'll probably talk about that later on, but those two big teams are the big contenders, I think, right now for the league.
Yeah, America's in first place out. We they're definitely favorites. Uh, they do have the best offense. May not be by much. They're right up there with Pumas. But I'm like what I'm seeing, Chiquis. I like it. We're not at that Argentina River Boca level, but we're getting there, man. We're getting there. We start taking these tournaments more and more serious, and we saw a little bit of that during the Conca Champions when Toronto eliminated some of these, Liga MX teams. And so I think it comes down to the fans where they really need to voice their, they need to make a big deal out of some of this stuff, or else like the front office and then the players, they're not gonna care. So
Yeah.
I think just to echo like on Chivas, there's a big reason why the team has been mismanaged for so long because the fans, we're very complacent as fans. We're just very forgiving, and we don't care. Like what Mati did, if Mati was in River Plate and he had the record he had at Chivas, trust me, he would not be a fan favorite. They, he would not. He would not like. The fans would not allow him to lose. He lost like four clásicos, two of them during league playoffs. Um, yeah, but so we see the different level of passion between fans and just how more demanding they are for the club to do good. I mean, missing out on two straight liguillas and how the fans venerate that guy. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just pointing out compared to because in Argentina, man, they when he was in River Plate, he got him back up to first division, and he only spent he didn't finish the season. Like he only played like one half of the season, and then they let him go, and they called him on the phone to tell him like, hey, we're letting you go, and it wasn't even in person. It's pretty messed up.
That's because they have plenty long-haired, good-looking guys in Argentina. Whereas in Mexico, the Chivas fans are, they're in love with the guy just, partly because of, his looks and stuff, and for holding the goat, just for holding the goat and loving the Chivas, and you see all the people fawn over him, even when he shows up to the Chivas movie
He
premiere.
was, man.
They are like in love with the dude. And if it was Chepo, like if Chepo did what Almeida did, like say Chepo didn't have the NT bad experience with the national team, say he did exactly what Almeida did, they would not be loving them some Chepo, man.
Well,
It's a personality and a perspective thing with Mati.
yeah. Well, it's like it's how he talked. It's how he talked, and he connected with the fans because he sort of like sounded like a fan, and he always talked about like just how great Chivas is and all that.
Yeah.
And then he even said, I'm gonna get the Chivas badge," but then he ended up just getting the trophy, the the, the league
Oh,
trophy.
yeah.
I backed out last minute, but yeah, man, we're beginning to see that, and hopefully this will make the clubs more competitive, you know, because yeah, if you're an Aguila fan and you're gonna have your two biggest rivals, Chivas and Cruz Azul, and Cruz Azul wins doblete, you're you're gonna have them like it sort of starts becoming bragging rights, and then you don't want the rivals to have that over you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna hear crisis if America doesn't win the
Well, I was hearing it. I was hearing it as a Chiva fan because they would make fun because like Ron would always say how Chivas had not been able to win the Conca Champions since like 1950. It was like the late 50s, and they were calling Chivas the Atlas of the Conca Champions. Which, because Atlas, their last league win was in 51. Um, so yeah, you always, it comes down to bragging rights, but you always want your team competing. And I think one thing that happened, in Mexico once they started switching, it was like in the 70s when they switched to playoffs, copy like the sports here in the US where you have playoffs, and also to try to mimic like the World Cup when you had group stage and then you went to the elimination. Um, around that time they sort of like they sort of like stopped playing because they would play all these cups. They played the Copa Mexico, which is Copa MX. They had Copa Campeones and so all of these other cups, and they sort of like pushed them to the side. Like they stopped like promoting them. They stopped like caring about them, and it's. I think that hurt. I do feel like that hurt the football culture in Mexico to an extent because and then which then goes to the players because as a player you want to and the young players you want to be in as many high profile matches as possible. You don't want to just play one, you know, just liguilla or just maybe one league final, in a 10-year career. You want to say you played in all these tournaments where you had like defining moments like penalty kick shootouts and all that, you know, golden goal, whatever it is, so that I think that just overall you have that experience. It makes you a better player.
Yeah, I think it's more valuable when one leads to the other, like a Conca Champions leads to a Club World Cup, or I guess that's the main case, or like a before where Libertadores qualification wasn't it the champion and subcampeón would go to Libertadores.
No, we never we weren't allowed to do that. Campeón and subcampeón had to go to Conca Champions, and then the third, fourth, or the
Where
fourth, fifth, sixth. Wait, Conca Champions was like four teams. So the top teams went to Conca Champions, and then the other half went to
oh, okay,
Libertadores.
yeah, so
Uh,
so you earn it basically, but like the two cups, like two simultaneous cups, that's why I think Copa MX is not really highly valued, especially because it's against second division teams. You don't earn anything with it, and you don't or you aren't required to win something to get into
yeah,
it.
no, you're right, but that's where the fans come in because if you know
Yeah,
you
yeah. And the fans showed up. In
the
Monterrey, the fans it looked like there was a good crowd.
yeah, no, I mean, but when you lose, the fans have to give you shit about it. You
Oh yeah,
shouldn't lose to Correcaminos and then you're at the antro that night and the fans are buying you shots, which is
yeah,
what's happening with some of these players, which is like these are true stories. Like, some of these teams would lose and then they will go hang out at night at the bars or wherever, and you have fans just buddying up with them. And which I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I would say in the long run it makes you complacent. You know, so compared to some of these other places like in Argentina, if you lose one of those matches, you better not be seen, man. You better lay low because if you're out at the bar that night, the fans are gonna give you shit, man. They're not gonna buy you drinks. They're gonna go pelt your car.
yeah.
There was a story I forgot where the fans went because this team in Argentina. This happened like a week or maybe two ago, and the fans, dude, they invaded a training session and they punked the players because they weren't, you know, to let them know like, hey man, you're ruining the shirt.
Well, you see a little bit of that in Mexico, like those Puma fans that went to the gate and was yelling at the players and actually talked to the players. You hear like Lady Máquina and Lady Azul, Gonzalo. You see these people.
Oh yeah, but
Those have,
they're just crying and they're getting recorded. That's not like you invade an actual training where you go into the pitch and you're,
yeah,
you
that's a little
know, you
more.
got
That's a
like
little more.
you got 10 dudes going up to one player, man, to be like, that's that's
Well,
like, whoa, man.
The Pumas fans did that a little bit. That's what like the Pumas fans when they went and talked to the players and they were complaining to them. But yeah, I guess that's a smaller version of what you're talking about. And then Tigres, the problem with a lot of fans, like Tigres fans,
Oh,
those guys are faithful no matter what. They're like indifferent. You could be losing, they'll still be singing.
Yeah, well,
which is
that is the majority of that's the majority of clubs of fans in Liga MX where the fans, which again, I'm in, I'm kind of in the fence with that because,
yeah. I don't think it's good.
no, 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 but I'm in the fence. I understand the whole passion but I don't think like a player should get like his life threatened or beat up. you, you know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, it's still a sport. Uh,
Yeah, but if yeah, that is true. We never want violence or anything like that. And a lot of people hate soccer because of the hooligans and all that aspect of it. But that's the reason why it's the the most popular sport in the world, and that's the reason why those clubs that are so crazy have good teams, like Argentina, Brazil. Um, they require and they insist their teams are be quality teams, and they demand excellence. And when that happens, the players are put on the spot. The whole organization is pressured to do well at all in all aspects of the sport, and they become better teams. If there's no passion, the team has no reason to be better or to improve. So, like to an extent, it's good, and I think you're always going to get those fringe people that cause violence and do crazy things or attack drones or that all that stuff is good. Like in my opinion, the drone thing with River and Boca, when when the Boca fans put the drone on the field, or when they were like trying to weld through the security and threw a smoke bomb in the tunnel. That kind of passion, I think, is okay to a certain extent. Um, but but yeah, you never want to see things get out of hand. That's why I think the U.S. is not, and I always say they're not a soccer country. They're not going to be truly great because
oh, savage!
that type of passion doesn't exist. It's too polite. It's too uh, like civilized. You gotta have a little unrest,
It's
civil
a
unrest.
bit savage.
You gotta be a little bit savage, man. Like you see that video. You might have seen that video of I think it was Uruguayan kids or Argentinian kids. They were playing at like a Chuck E. Cheese. They're playing soccer.
Oh, the little league,
Yeah,
like the
the little
little
they're like
indoor.
4 year olds. Yeah, like an indoor 4 year old kids, and they were like hacking each other in the leg and stuff. And this kid got mad and he just went like studs up on the kid and knocked him down on his butt. And he started
They,
crying.
they were
That's
doing
like
elbows.
yeah, they were like hitting each other, and he just
Yeah,
got mad and he went at him with like 2 feet straight at his legs and nailed him.
well,
And that's like taught from the youth.
yeah, the surprising thing was that the parents weren't even yelling, uh, and one of them just kept recording and just let them just walk it off, dude. Just let them
Yeah,
hash it out right there. You know, yeah, that wouldn't happen here. You would have the parents already yelling bloody murder. Um,
yeah.
that was what John likes to call the dark arts. Um,
Oh, Juan
and
Uribe.
man, right when we were talking about the youth and the hacking, we summoned Profe Cambia Rayas.
Hey, Juan. I actually want to ask a
Hey,
question
how's it
on
going,
that.
guys?
What's up, man? Hey, I got a question for you since you're on the youth, your youth wisdom. You there? Are you in practice? I think Juan is a little bit
His
occupied.
Metro PCS phone doesn't. It loses connection a lot.
Hey, I apologize, guys. Yeah, I'm low tech right now. This is a flip phone that I'm using. So as you can see, they still use they still connect two wires and what is it, a string
Yeah.
to send the message. Um, yeah, but I'm with you now.
Okay, yeah, I got a question for you then. Did you see that? Like, I think it's been a couple of weeks where there was a video on Twitter of these like 4-year-old. I think they're Uruguayan or Argentinian kids. They're playing it like in an indoor little field. Looked like a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party or something. Well, the Argentinian or Uruguayan equivalent, and they were just like hacking at each other, fighting. And one kid got so mad that he just he went and attacked another one with like studs up and like slid into him and hurt him and made him cry. And that's just normal like South American passion. Do you do you think that's important to have in the youth, like that type of aggression and competitive desire to win, even if you're like fighting and kicking each other? Or do you see like the U.S. kids and in your experience to be a little bit more soft and more
Guys,
calm?
hey Beto.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think as far as passion, like there's people like I have parents that play like basketball in college and other sports on my team. On my kids, the teams I coach, and they always say that it's the athletes that have that natural instinct to be aggressive. So it kind of ties into your question a little bit, I think, because it's really hard to teach a youngster. I mean, it's not hard. It's just that
Oh, I think it cut out a little.
We lose him again. You know what I've seen with when it comes to that, I've seen where certain parents would get upset because they feel that the coach is too harsh. You know, because if we've gotten that way where it's like you can't, where you give timeouts, and stuff like
everything
that, and
that
where the
has
prof's back.
say that again. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're back. We lost you for like 2 minutes. You went
Oh
rogue.
shoot, you didn't hear what I said then, huh?
No, you gotta dial it back. You stopped right where you said that it was instinctive to be aggressive, like for certain players.
Yeah. So I mean, this is not my thought. This is parents on my team have mentioned to me that
But you said they
they
were
they view
athletes.
that a natural athlete is instinctively aggressive. You know, somebody that's like that athletic, like I mean, I don't know, like a Barry Sanders or somebody that doesn't want to lose. That they're athletic and athletes compete and they don't want to lose. But I think you can teach that passion, but I think it's important. I think you don't want to end up with a Carlos Vela type where he's a beast, but only when he feels like it.
Yeah.
And he gets all this. He gets this world class education, training, development, and he can't put it to good use. And you don't want to hang your hopes on those type of players. You want a player that, like, man. I, I mean, if you cross reference it with like another sport, it's like Kobe. Kobe compared to LeBron. LeBron's like a natural athlete, right? He's got this big, big, strong body, big athlete body. He could be, he can power through. And Kobe's like, he had to really work at it a lot. And guys like LeBron or even Jordan. You know? So you hear my response?
I
Yeah, man.
heard it.
Good point.
I
Or
heard it. But don't you
like,
think because parents are soft now, so you probably get like their parents? I was telling Chiquis, they'll give their kids time out. Because like when I was a kid, it was fajo, flying chancla, or go cut a branch from the tree.
yeah,
And
you know
that
what?
stuff doesn't happen no more. And
It
so
depends.
you
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joel.
no, yeah, you don't have that anymore. So it's like even verbal abuse gets seen. It's seen like it's really bad. So if you're getting your ass chewed by the coach, kids are less likely because they're not used to that. They're less likely to want to play, and then even the parents might make a big deal about it. Because I did get I remember when I played youth for a little bit, and I remember one time the coach just grabbed me and he's like, because my passing was bad, man, and he chewed me out and he's like, "You don't deserve to play, man. Get this ball and then just kick it against the wall till till you get it right." I'm not kidding, man. I felt like leaving. It was humiliating, and but I went to do it anyways. And then it's like 15 minutes later, he put me back in the match. We were doing a practice cascarita, but those were intense,
Oh,
dude. Those were intense. Those were intense
nah, man.
cascaritas.
You had a bad coach. He should have. I mean, look, if you if you were trained by Hans Wensterhoff, I'm sure he would have put you in exercises to improve one your coordination and motor skills, and then he would train your technique. Hey, this is how you fix your body mechanics. This is how you fix your body. You open your hips, you strike with this part of the foot for this effect, or all the little your way heel down toe up. You know what I mean, Jolie? Like, not, hey, go, ve ya este güey allá unos 20 minutos, porque you're killing my drill.
No, it was we were having like a match,
Oh, yeah.
11 versus 11 match,
But
but
in practice.
it was in practice and it was with that team, man. They were intense because even if it was practice, nobody liked to lose. They
Oh,
went all out, and
were you trying to punch above your weight on the team? Like you're trying to go for a better team than you were ready for?
no, he just wanted me to
No?
be more aggressive,
Oh,
and because
oh.
like if you lose the ball, don't just stand there, go fight to get it back, you know.
Because it's like dating, dude. Soccer teams are like dating. You don't want to go way above your nivel, because then hay niveles.
Then you
Oh
get
yeah, it was.
frustrated and you hack people.
It was, dude. I was punching above
But
my weight.
hey,
I was fairly new, and all those guys have been playing longer.
oh, see, that's what it is, man. But going back to your question about the parents, dude, you know, in youth sports, you have a mix of some parents are like super soft, um, but they avoid it's easy to know quickly because they'll take off. You pretty much, like, for me, I like to see how committed they are and how much they can handle. Or sometimes you bleed them in slowly. You know what I mean, Jolie? You don't bring out the Bobby Knight till they're committed and they can't go anywhere. Once they fork over a couple $100, they're like, ah, fuck, we already paid. Fuck it, let's tough it out. And then if they stick it out, they realize, hey, it was worth it.
You don't bring out Bielsa's hype man. What was it, Bonini?
Well, I have to do a combination of both. I do the Bielsa, and then I'm also Bonini.
Yeah,
Uh,
for those that don't know, Bonini is like the Argentine coach Marcelo Bielsa. He has this. He's a pretty
he,
reserved
he
guy,
he
but
passed away, Jolie.
he did.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
man,
why he got fired from. That's why he got fired from the last French club he was at. What was it, Marseille or Leon or Olympique?
man.
But
Well,
go
you
ahead,
just named
finish,
three
finish.
clubs. Oh, okay, yeah, I want to hear about
Whatever.
that. So Bielsa, he's a pretty reserved guy, but he's very smart and he understands you need like sometimes you need to fire up the players, and he had this one guy in his staff called Bonini, and there's this video that went kind of viral for a bit on YouTube, and it's when he was coaching Chile, and the players are going into the pitch, and Bonini's right there, and he's just talking shit to them. He's like, he's he's just, but you can see the players getting hyped, and he's like, La
He's
concha tu
going off on
hermana,
Chupete.
vamos, hijo
He's
puta,
going
and
off on
and
Chupete.
you, you think
Vamos,
he's
Chupete.
yeah, you you think he's being rude, but he's hyping them up, and you can see it in their faces that they're hungry, man. They're ready. And if you're listening to it and you've played, it makes you want to just jump in the field, man. I got that feeling once a long time ago. Um, they played a clip. Someone went into the Mexico, and it was when Aguirre was the coach for Mexico, and it was for his game against the U.S. I think it was their first game, and they needed to win because the team had just lost in Honduras, and and they recorded him hyping up the players, like just getting. It was they played it on Univision, and it was some dude, somebody, it was like a journalist or someone, and they, it's just audio. He had like a little recorder, and he just recorded the audio, and he's like, man, I need 11 hungry lions and this and that, and he's getting the team hyped. It's when they won 1-0 with a Borgetico.
Oh,
But
I've never seen this clip or heard it, so I'm
it's
gonna
just
look for it.
hearing, it's just audio.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so Bonini, man, I that dude was like, I didn't know, man. What were you saying that with the Marcelo, or when Bielsa left?
Yeah, so he was sick, man. I think he had cancer, and he was, that's why he stayed back in. Man, I don't remember where he was at. If he was staying in Chile or in Argentina. I think he stayed back in Chile. Because his son was working for is one of Almeida's assistants, right? That was his trainer. It was Bonini's son, and but anyways, Bonini passed away, dude, and so Bielsa just got a ticket. He didn't tell him. He told the club, I'm leaving, and he's gonna go to his friend's funeral, and they didn't give him permission.
Oh, yeah.
The club didn't want Bielsa to come back, and because they had like games, and Bielsa's like, dude, this guy's like I mean, that's his right hand man for many years, man. He couldn't,
Yeah,
he had to be
the
there.
fans were mad at the club for doing that to him.
Yeah, the club gave an ultimatum, and so he said, all right, fuck you guys, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, they
So
lost.
yeah, it was a big loss, man, because they he's doing a great job there, but yeah, dude, Bonini, I think it was when what club was Bielsa at that he in France? Was it Marseille?
Yeah, he was in Marseille.
Yeah, man, it was. I think he wasn't able. I don't think Bonini followed him there because he was sick. He was fighting. I'm pretty sure it was cancer. We'll have to double check all these notes, but he had been sick for a while, and
Well,
ended up quitting over it.
Marseille was yeah, he was there for like a year, and then he played in Lille, but he wasn't there that long. But I'm pretty sure it's Marseille where that happened.
No,
It,
yeah.
it's funny that in his wiki they put him for Lazio, even though he didn't even coach one game. If you go to his
Oh,
wiki
because
page.
yeah, dude, that's why they call him a loco, man. Because look, he went to Lazio, and the deal was he gave him a list of players. He goes, okay, you got to sign, some of these players.
Yeah,
And then the clubs are like, all right, we're gonna work on it. Don't worry, we promise. So that was the deal. You sign these players, and I'll go coach there. And so he goes back the next, I guess like a couple hours later, and the club comes back to him. Hey, I'm sorry, but we can't work any of these transfers. They're not willing to negotiate. They're too expensive. Blah blah blah. And of course, Bielsa's not stupid. He follow up with the clubs. Hey, did they contact you about these transfers? And they all said, nope, not a word. We haven't heard anything. So Bielsa said, all right, fuck you guys, I'm out.
oh, you know what? It was at Lille. It was
Hey,
at Lille.
Lille,
I don't know how
Lille,
to pronounce it. It's Lille. Yeah,
yeah,
so it
Lille,
was at Lille
OSC,
where
OSC.
it was right there. So he says he was 67 years old. He was still in Chile, and yeah, and Bielsa went to visit him.
He had to, man.
And you know where this guy had been at? He was in Atlas.
Bonini,
Yeah, with Bielsa. So he was in Atlas and in America briefly.
when
So
Bielsa
yeah,
was at America too, huh?
he was everywhere Bielsa was. But the hype
Dude,
man, man, it's very
that's his
very
right
needed.
hand and his left hand, dude. Well, that was his right hand. His left hand is some translator now. This French guy that he has with him. He was
I
like
seen him. I seen some
yeah,
of those clips.
He's like a philosophy. You know what? He's like a philosophy professor, and he quit his job, and Bielsa hired him to be his like personal translator because he don't want anybody else. He just wants this guy, and that guy like quit his job to be Bielsa's translator, dude.
I would quit my job to be Bielsa's translator, man.
Well, yeah, I'm sure, man.
Uh,
Wouldn't we all?
Is Chicky still with us?
Hey man, I want to sort of give an update talking about like being soft and passionate, the passion of fans and competitiveness. Uh, and going back to the U.S. that I was saying, LAFC is playing, of course, Real Salt Lake in the playoffs.
Are they playing right
Uh,
now?
yeah, and they're down 1-0. Carlos Vela takes a free kick, curls it in, and a guy heads it for a goal, and to tie it up. And Nick Raimondo, this is like right. Nick Raimondo's back is towards the LAFC fan base, and you just see the beer fly, and a plastic cup flies near him, and he starts complaining. And the game was the game was suspended. He was just complaining, holding the plastic cup. Uh,
Ah,
and I and
Oh,
and
I know, man.
and I was like, oh, okay, man. We have seen like in Brazil, what was that? Dida, the goalkeeper, got hit with a flare. We've seen bottles being thrown in other leagues, and this guy's complaining about a little cup. Before that, he was complaining about like some beer drops. Like he felt some beer drops fall on his head, and he was complaining to the ref. So it just shows like the the softness and the passion that's not that people aren't used to in the U.S. Like
And
I'm
you know
sure.
what's it hasn't that been one of like if you're like a NFL or baseball or any other sports fan, they've always criticized the softness of soccer players, the flopping and all that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of funny that they're doing it here instead of uh, helping make the sport popular here. They're probably giving it you know a step back.
Well, no, that like if you ever listen, like a long time ago, I used to listen to the Jim Rome show.
Yeah.
Like every day, I'd listen to that guy's show, and he was like really popular. He would rag on soccer all the time, like because they're hoodlums, because the violence, the hooligan aspect of it, and he would have like it was sort of like a meme back in the day of soccer fan go is at it again with his crazy antics, and uh, and so it was like a negative thing about soccer. But that's just to the untrained fan, the untrained person. In the soccer environment, that shows that you're a great country, that you're a passionate fan base. Um, to the most popular sport, you're not the most popular sport in the world, and not have this type of thing happen. That's why there's fights in the NFL all the time and stuff.
Hey, Beto, do you still listen to Jim Rome?
I think he's on TV now. He's not on like free radio, so yeah, I haven't listened to him in a long time. It was like in the late '90s, early 2000s. At work, I would listen to him all the time.
I wonder what he thinks about James Harden and Chris Paul because I watched the Lakers play the Rockets. Now, I hadn't seen basketball for a while I hadn't seen the Rockets, and man, these guys like they exaggerate every little bit of contact, dude. It's like they in fact sometimes they jump into their defender, like they stick out their leg, and they are contact. Like let's say you're standing still, this guy jumps up, sticks out his leg to hit you, and then he like flops and gets a foul called. Like I mean, for
Yeah,
years I've seen
that's
like American sports fans like generally all criticize soccer for the flopping and the diving and calling it less manly. But I mean, look at what's going on in and you know what? The worst part is the refs. Like they give the foul, they give the free throw. So it's freaking what a turn of events,
I
man.
think that's
Hey,
I think that's a little bit new though. Like in the NBA, that didn't happen in the '90s and early 2000s.
No, it didn't. I mean, it is new, but
Yeah,
it's it's a it's it's disgusting.
yeah, it's
wait,
exactly it.
Chiquis, could you play the audio of Bonini?
Oh shoot.
I put the link at the Cantina
Okay,
at
let
our
me.
Cantina DMs. Uh, I didn't know he passed away, man. It's kind of sad to hear that.
Yeah, let me
I
get
think I
this.
think Chivas needs a player Someone like that, a coach. Pulido, la concha de tu hermana. He's too soft, dude.
All right, let's see if this works. Maybe not. Oh wait, hold on.
Vamos a movernos la cancha ahora, Nos movemos ahora en la entrada, Si no nos vamos. Nos movemos ahora, si no nos vamos. ¡Vete a la concha a tu hermana! ¡Vamos, carajo! ¡Te quiero ver! ¡Te quiero ver, papá! ¡Vamos! ¡Vamos!
I think that was it.
Yeah, that's in the tunnel. They're heading into the field to play I believe it's a World Cup qualifying game. But I'm like, damn, game hasn't started yet, and he's getting them pumped.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like the insults and stuff. It doesn't translate like in the U.S. like it does there. Like you would, I don't think coaches, NFL coaches, say those types of phrases and words to their players. I mean, I guess it's a different culture, a different.
Probably not anymore.
Yeah. Even the, I think Juan likes to use the phrase "Aguirre." Aguirre used it all the time. What did he say? Felicidades, hijo de.
Did he say it? I know he would say it in a press conference.
I think there's a sign of him, like of his face, and it says "Felicidades, hijo de boom."
Did Bella get cut off again?
Oh, that wasn't Bella.
By the way, I'm missing that match.
I got a TV next to me, so I've been watching it. It's been pretty entertaining, I guess. The match before it, though, DC United and Columbus Crew went to penalties. Wayne Rooney missed a penalty kick, and then DC United missed the final penalty kick to lose the game. He just blew it over the crossbar, and they lost. So.
Wait, is Rooney with United?
Yeah, Rooney's with United, so they're eliminated.
Wait, is it just one match though? I mean.
Yeah, I guess it's just one and out. Same with this one.
I didn't know that, man. I thought it was home and home.
Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on a second. I might be wrong.
Yeah, because I'm like, they're already in penalty shootouts. Are you sure it was
Yeah, they went to penalties, so that's why I assumed. Let me. Yeah, because the fans are like crying. They're playing in DC.
They used to be the top. MLS team. Way back when.
Yeah, when I lived in Virginia, I went to a Chivas DC United game, and
it wasn't playoffs, dude. It is. DC United falters in PKs, falls to Columbus in MLS playoffs. I used to cover Chivas USA for this newspaper in Mexico City. Martin Palacio used to be the editor for the sports section. It was Excelsior, and I used to be their LA correspondent. So whatever amistoso or match, I would go cover them and just send them my write-ups. But I used to have season pass for Chivas USA, but I I forgot what year it was because man, it's a while back. But I got to see the DC United. They played the MLS Cup and they had Freddie Adu. He was like 15 years old or something, and he
Yep.
played. Yeah, but I remember going to this MLS Cup final, and it was at the StubHub, which is I don't know what's it called now, the Dix or
Big
I don't
sporting
remember.
goods.
I don't know, man. They changed the name, but it used to be the StubHub, and right there in Carson, and I remember that. So I went to go cover that MLS Cup final, and it didn't look like it was a final, you know. It looked like an amistoso. Like I'm walking through the parking lot, and I'm waiting for the match, and it's like almost no passion at all. It was just like another day. Uh, but man, we're talking about like 10 years, man, or over 10 years now. And and like you say, you have fans crying and stuff like that. I do think they've come a long way with the way that with the league, you know, the way it's followed now.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like there's a core amount of players. I think a lot of them are former soccer players um, that become fans.
And the stadiums has helped because before they had to play in the NFL stadiums, and you're 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 playing in this like the Galaxy, you know, when they're in Pasadena and they're playing in this 90K stadium and there's only like 15,000 fans and it looks empty. It looks so empty. It looks like nobody cared to go. Uh, which you know at the StubHub, which is about 25K, you have 15 and it's a really good crowd, and then you get 20 and they're closer to each other, and then it automatically creates better atmosphere. So a lot of these teams, it took them a while, but they eventually had their own soccer-specific stadiums, and that's been a big help. I, re- I remember buying this video game, Pro Evolution. It's a Winning 11 series, and well, I didn't buy it. I played it. And they had MLS. They had MLS, and when you played, and I think this was like around the late '90s because Luis Hernandez was at the Galaxy, and that was one of my favorite players. And if you if you play like the MLS league, and then they would do like the empty stadiums, like
Uh-huh.
it's a video game. You would think they would have the stadium full, but those programmers kept it real. So you will see the stands, and it was like they were just empty. There's just a pocket full of fans here and there. That would
Yeah,
always make me laugh, dude. I was like, it was kind of savage.
they're keeping it
I was like
real.
they kept it real, man. I was like, maybe if I win enough games, more fans will come.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Vela's beginning to be one of their remaining superstars because Zlatan couldn't qualify with the Galaxy, and that team had Zlatan and the Dos Santos brothers, which have been a huge disappointment. Um, Jonathan, a few days ago, he admitted he's like, I've been playing bad. He just,
Yeah.
you know, he just he just came clean. But it's big disappointment, man. You know, I really wanted to see Mexican players dominating this league, and Vela's the only one holding up that torchlight. And for like you know, because how much more better would it be for the league if they had Zlatan and the Gio and company, you know, in playoffs. You know, just creates generates more attraction, more interest, and so a big loss for them not qualifying, which was a big fracaso since they had to beat a team that I believe was already eliminated, or just not to lose, and they ended up losing. And then Rooney out. Yeah, that just leaves. They don't have that many more other big name players. I think Bella's like the one, you know, one of their main guys. I could see it happening, Chiquis. I could see Vela leading this team to the cup. They got a really good coach, man. I got to see
Bradley.
him. Yeah, going back to when I covered, he was at Chivas USA, and he used to take them to the playoffs all the time. And he had a team that was, Jesus, man, it was a pretty bad team. They didn't have that much. Well, I mean, just the gringo players they had, they ended up being seleccionados. But they were all young, but oh man, the juveniles that Chivas sent over, they were just terrible, dude. Like they sent them like their worst players.
That sounds
Yeah, you
about right.
have.
Oh, is John back?
Yeah, John.
John Laguna.
So halftime at MLS LAFC Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, it's 1-1. I didn't see who scored the goal, but I did see that Rooney was eliminated via the penalty kicks, and FC Dallas lost last night. And well, of course, the big teams are like the Seattles and the Atlantas. Those guys are still going, so it'll have to be at least another week before Mexico can officially name Tata Martino as their coach.
El Tata. Yeah. He well he decided not to extend his contract, and the rumors had been flying for a while that Mexico had contacted him, and after that people were putting it as a done deal. Then there was talks with Ruben Omar Romano that he was saying that he would work alongside of Tata if he was to arrive, and then Romano sort of threw Norberto Scoponi under the bus. I think he said that Scoponi was already scouting players or something along that line. And just recently we had news that Argentina wanted Tata Martino back. That's their Bombero Luna, I'm guessing. that's their to-go guy there. Their World Real for Chivas.
Yeah,
Way back when.
Like I mentioned, I mean, he's coached them at least twice that I know of, and I'm sure that it's it seems like Argentina only wants a coach like that when someone else wants them. I have noticed. I have noticed that.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Simeone doesn't want none of that. And then their next, one of their hot guys right now is El Muñeco Gallardo. And if he wins Libertadores, this would be his second Libertadores. I mean, this guy he's stamping a one-way ticket to Europe, probably La Liga, you know. And I think Gallardo would. I don't know. I don't know if he would be a candidate if he would want it. You really haven't heard his name, but if he does win the cup, he is gonna start getting named. And so Scoponi talked about Tata, and he said about the Argentina stuff, and he's saying that Tata wouldn't want to return to Argentina because he feels slighted.
Well, he should feel slighted,
and that he feels like they're not gonna let him work the way he wants to, and that they will be more willing to join the Team Mexico, man. So I was like, whoa, okay.
Why wouldn't he feel slighted? I mean, he coached, like I said, he coached Argentina in 2016, so they make the finals of
Copa America.
Of Copa America twice. I mean, they don't win the tournament, but he did make the final. And and then they fired him after that. It doesn't seem to make any sense. He took he took Paraguay to the Copa America final in 2011. So he made in the three Copa Americas that he coached, he made three finals in a row. And then they fire the guy. I mean, would you want to go back to that?
Yeah, yeah, not good, not good. And then the Mexican media, being the Mexican media, started linking Lopetegui, who had just been sacked after being humiliated by Barcelona at the Superclásico Español, and so someone were already naming him as a possible candidate, which is like, are people really taking this serious?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
who reads?
so I do think Tata Martino is probably the favorite just because of the fact that he's already announced that he's leaving. But the reality is that it's going to be some. If it's not Tata, they're not going to get a Lopetegui. They're not going to get Pochettino. They're not going to get Pellegrini. They're not going to get Mourinho or Altobelli or Fabio Capello or any of those guys. It's going to be a local guy, and that's why I insist. At this point, it's going to be between Caixinha, Diego Alonso, and Tuca.
No Piojo, man.
Well, Piojo is
Oh, you have him the bombero.
He's the bombero.
Everyone's gonna hate it if Piojo gets called. I think
And not
I'm
me,
liking.
not me. I would not hate it. I like me some Piojo, dude. You could throw the side of La Pioja to that as well for
A lot of
LOLs and
people will.
Twitter.
I think Caixinha, like when you listed out your winners of Copa MX, he won it with Santos
Yes.
a while back. So
he's also won the title with Santos.
Yeah, he's been really solid. He knows the Mexican league real well, so I think he might be the guy. And the thing with Diego Alonso is like, man, with the stacked team that he has, and still not doing super well, it's really surprising.
It's his first season, man.
Well, you see, still look at these players, and then you see Pizarro, and it's partly his fault. What's his name? Gallardo has been more dangerous, and especially in last night's game, than Pizarro in a lot of the games. So
yeah, Pizarro's been a disappointment. Pizarro, man. It's just I think it was.
Pizarro.
I think it hurt. I think it's hurt his ego because he saw himself right up there with Chucky and that other Pachuca guy. I forget his name. I keep confusing him.
Guti.
The guy that joined. Yes, Guti, and he, because he grew up playing with those guys, and he probably saw himself being in Europe before them.
Well, he went for the money with Chivas.
No, I don't. Well, I don't think he went for I don't think he had an option, but I also don't think there was much offers because I had never heard any rumors of any club being interested. But it's almost similar to what happened with Marquitos Fabian, where he was part of this Olympic squad and he was part of this group of players, and he saw himself going to Europe, and then he saw all these other players leaving before him, and it just kind of messed with his head. As of the time when he started having problems with Chivas, and Chivas ended up sending him to Cruz Azul.
And they ended up doing him a world of good because he got his head right with ball at Cruz Azul, ended up making the World Cup team in 2014, and after that he had a brief but serviceable career in Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, Chivas brought him back, but that's when Nestor gave him a contract, and he's like, I'm gonna put a clause here that if there's any interest, we'll facilitate. We're not gonna double your asking price or anything. Well, not his asking price, but, his value. And he did. He ended up leaving to Frankfurt?
Right.
Another rumor is Pulido going to Monterrey. That's what I think I saw today. I don't know how truthful that is, but
I don't think nobody wants Pulido right now, man. He's damaged goods. He's gonna have to lower his wages because I wouldn't pay him that. He's just not he's just not like. To me, he's not doing enough to earn that type of money.
Yeah, unfortunately for Pulido, he got injured in that Modelo game right before the World Cup, or not the Gold Cup, where he would have been the starting striker in the
true.
in the Modelo Gold Cup, and he really hasn't been the same player since then, because he was, this is coming off a terrific Liguilla where he scored all the goals to lift Chivas to win the title. And he gets injured. He breaks his elbow, I think it was, in a freak accident. Playing in Seattle on one of those fields, and it's like, how many of these guys are going to have to get hurt for Femex Foot to realize, hey, maybe. And I'm not saying that happened because of this field, but I'm saying it probably, didn't help the matters much. But I mean, how many more players have to get hurt for Femex Foot to realize that playing games in temporary fields or field turf fields is just not a good idea. I mean, how many guys have had career downturns because they've gotten hurt in meaningless friendlies playing on these bad fields. And Pulido's another one who's, this happened 2 years ago, or I guess a year and a half ago now, and he just hasn't been the same guy. He hasn't been the same guy at all. It's very unfortunate. I would be playing a sad flute for him right now if I had my audio board, but I don't have it.
We're missing the sad flute. We haven't had sad flute in a while. We really need the return of sad flute.
Yeah, I need to, since I'll be spending my time, I just need to keep that stuff in the car, and then when I do a show, I'll be ready to go.
So you guys want to preview the weekend of Liga MX?
Let's do it.
Okay, let me just get a chart, man.
Let's jump right in. Let's see who. Let's talk about the teams that have the teams that have the must win. So let's just before we jump in, let's just briefly discuss the standings. So there's 3 weeks left. And right now, America and Santos are in the lead with 28 with points, followed by Cruz Azul with 27, Pumas with 26, and then Toluca with 25, Monterrey 23, Morelia with 22, and Tigres with 20. So the ninth place team right now is Pachuca with 19. So technically, nobody is officially qualified to the Liguilla, because there is a 9-point difference between the ninth place team and the eighth place team. But there are obviously teams that are going to make the Liguilla if they win this week. So with that said, we have Morelia playing Tigres, which is a huge game. Probably the biggest, most important game, because the loser of this game could find themselves on the outside looking in with 2 weeks left to play.
Yeah, swimming upstream, man.
Yeah, and Morelia is they have a good team. They they unfortunately got rid of their best player, Ruiz, who is now scoring goals for Seattle Sounders, and Seattle Sounders, got well enough that they have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. They have a good coach, a guy that I'm not sure why we don't talk about this guy on the show.
We don't, and he's a Mexican.
We should be ashamed of ourselves.
We mentioned him a few times, John, but we should talk about him more, because he's defied the odds of the new Mexican coaches have about a 6-month or less life expectancy.
That's right, because just last season alone, there was Paco Palencia, there was Chiquis Garcia, there was Jimmy Lozano, and none of those. Well, actually, Paco Palencia, I think he's still at Lobos, but Jimmy Lozano and Chiquis, your tocayo, they just haven't gotten a sniff. Although, according to one of our sources, Jimmy Lozano has been considered for a couple of the youth position spots in Femex Foot, which I think would be an excellent hire, because Jimmy Lozano is, one of the players that, had he not been injured, was, someone that was on track to have a very solid career for himself. I mean, he already did, but he was one of those guys that, probably could have made the jump and unfortunately didn't get a chance to. But that's, yeah. So again, here we are. We're trying to talk about the Morelia coach, and we talk about other coaches just to show how anonymous this guy is. Roberto Hernandez Ayala is the guy's name, and he's been there for a couple. This is what his third season, if I'm not mistaken. There
yeah. Wasn't he assistant? He was assistant under Ojitos.
Yeah. So we have the La Puentistas, and we have the La Volpistas. Would the Ojitos Mesa, would they be mesistas or ojitistas?
Okay, that doesn't sound right.
Or would they be ojetes?
Yeah.
No, that's not right. No, I guess they would be, mesistas. But no, he's been a terrific coach for them, and as Joel said, he's a Mexican. He's a young guy. He's only 51. He has coached other. He's coached Morelia as on an interim basis quite a bit, but this is finally the first time he got it permanently, and he's been there since 2017. This is a big test for him. If he can put Tuca on and Tigres on life support for the well, not necessarily life support, but put him in critical condition for the last 2 weeks. I mean, that would certainly give them a rather large opportunity, and they would be the one team out of the 8 that aren't necessarily considered quote unquote, equipos grandes. So they would be the one team de provincia, let's say, that would sneak it, because all the other ones are either well, I guess Santos too, but Santos is too consistent not to be considered a grande as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I know that they play in a small market, but they've been playing like a big team for 20 years. So I consider them a big team.
A good team.
At least talent-wise.
The definition varies, but they're good. They're a good team, great team, possibly. I think when we talk about big team, this is off topic, but fan bases with the Chiva hermanos and Americanistas like to tout. But one thing going back to the standings is I think we talked about it in one of the podcasts previous. Pachuca has they're playing Necaxa on Saturday, and they're right below both Morelia and Tigres, so they have a really good schedule coming up against Necaxa and then Atlas after that.
Well,
so
but
they have a good chance to sneak in.
Here's the problem with Pachuca, is that they just, I just don't have the confidence in them to be able to get those results. But you're right, though, they have Necaxa, Atlas, and León, 3 teams that are definitely on the bottom half of the table for them to make it. So you would have to expect that Atlas would win 2 of those. That would put them on 25 points. So 25 points would be the threshold that people would have to cross in order to qualify. So that game is Tigres Monarcas is on Friday, I should say. It's tomorrow, and they're going up against Puebla Guadalajara, and that is a game. Actually, I think Puebla, if I'm not mistaken, they still have a shot. They have 18 points, so they're 1 point behind Pachuca. So Puebla could conceivably. So they certainly have something to play for. Guadalajara absolutely, positively has to win. They no les queda otra. If Tigres was in critical condition, Guadalajara is on life support, and Joel has summoned the priest for the last rites, and he's warming up his plug pulling hand on Chivas to see if they can. If they could just go ahead and call time of death on the season. Joel, Puebla, Chivas, is Puebla going to put Chivas out of their misery, Joel? or Chivas fans gonna have?
I think Morelia did that. I think Morelia did that last week.
So you think the plug has been pulled?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you might think you're getting a pulse, but I don't. I just at this point I don't see it. You know.
The only thing that lacked in that Morelia game was Carlos Fierro scoring a goal. That would have been the nail in the coffin right there.
All right. So Puebla has a chance there, according to Joel. Chivas have officially mailed it in, so they will no longer be competitive and should be expected to be beaten 5-0.
Well, I mean, no, not to that extent. I still think they're going to be competitive at this point. Now, and it's something Cardoso's been doing, and I think he's done a really great job. And he's been giving a lot of the younger players more playing time, to the point where Salcido was even complaining because he's, Cardoso told him like, "Hey, man, you just, you're not a fit anymore for this club." But Salcido just refuses to retire. He wants to go the route of Conejo, man. He wants to be the next Conejosaurus Rex. And I just, it's like, dude, Salcido, man, come on. You should have left through the big door, man, right after the league win or after the Conca Champions win, man. Just exit on a high note instead of right there, dando lástima.
Well, I mean, at the very least, he can be like that. If they're actually winning 1-0, he'd be a good guy to bring off the bench. Just to poner orden, just.
Yeah. No, but what this team needs, the Chivas team, which is, and it's a good team. I still think it's a good team. They're just lacking, right now they're lacking a goleador nato. They haven't had a consistent goal scorer the way that Omar Bravo was. Like, Omar Bravo wasn't, he would at least guarantee you about 5-6 goals a season, and then in a good season he was scoring the double digits, or like anywhere between 9 and 11, and you just don't have that at Chivas. You have guys that can't even score 5 goals in a whole out of 17 games. So yeah, it's pretty problematic. The one dude that was able to do it was Chicharo, and he left. He left as soon as he had his breakout season. So that's what they're lacking, and it's hard to find. Like teams don't let go of those type of players. Mexican, yes.
Saldivar has 5 goals.
Yeah, but I'm saying, has he been scoring that every season?
Well, we can look at last season.
Yeah.
You want me to look? Okay, I'll look.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, John? Is John on here?
Yes, he's here.
¿Qué onda, Juan? ¿Qué onda, Juan?
¿Qué onda, John?
You watching my Thunder live? Juan?
No, man. Did you do that? Did you do that game? I had a practice, man.
Yeah, no, I do all of them, man. I have like 70 to go.
Oh. I think they played the Lakers, right? But I didn't watch that game.
No, they played the Hornets tonight. They won. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, we'll talk. We'll do Laker talk a little later. So Juan, Juan.
Hey, but Joel's wrong, dude. I mean, look, what's his name? Scored 4 goals last season. Pulido. Last season it was 4. I mean,
no mames con 4 goals, wait.
4 goals.
17 game season.
If Jolie wants 5 goals, this guy gave you 4.
What?
The season before that, it was Pizarro giving you
one same player. I said consistency. Don't make me 10 players.
Dude, there's a player on the squad consistently scoring 5 goals. The truth of the matter is that the team lacks firepower.
Mira, look,
the quality is not
there.
there.
Eight goals is what they
this is my bone to pick with Jolie. Okay, you had this system with Almeida where the team it looks offensive. They're attacking. You had Pizarro with 6 goals. You had Pulido with 7 goals. Saldivar with 4 goals. Now this was like at the peak of their prowess where they became champions. The
Copa MX campeonísimos.
They did the double that time, or the triple if you count the Super Copa, right?
You count Cambia Raya. You kept the Pachuca trophy, so you had your own campeonismo. You
The
won like 4 in a
doblete.
row.
There you go. The
You won like
doblete. I
4
did.
in a row.
I did the doblete.
Hey,
The
before
triplete because Chivas came back and won the Copa, the Conca Champions Copa.
before Cambia Raya straight
Mira,
from what I
Jolie,
said.
Jolie,
Wait. What I was
you're
saying?
just
Look,
not consistent in your
no,
criticism, man. You're
no,
saying
man. You let your feelings
look
get
right
in the
now.
way.
Okay, how's the team doing? What's the standings?
No,
If
man.
it would,
Look.
dude, right now you would be shitting all over. I'm not saying that I'm pro Almeida, but it's obvious inconsistency with you because right now you're saying, oh, the team isn't that bad, but what's the standings? How many points they got? Are they in Liguilla? You know, you've
No,
been
they're
railing the last 2 seasons. You were railing. They're not in Liguilla. Is the manager?
Yes.
He sucks. He doesn't have the quality. They bring in Cardoso, and nothing changes, dude. So that kind of tells you the only
Wait,
consistent thing here
but
is that management.
Cambia, you're throwing a bunch of stuff into the box,
No, dude,
man.
I'm calling you out on your
One
BS,
topic
Jolie.
at a time. No, because see,
I'm
look, we're
calling you
saying
out on
about
your BS,
Bravo.
Jolie.
Well,
That's all I'm doing.
first no Bravo, because I was saying at his low, like you know,
Dude,
like
they did not have did they have the leading goal scorer when they won the league?
wait, but let
No,
me
did
tell
they
you,
have it? Yes or no?
I need to check, man.
No, they
Because
didn't,
it's been
dude. But
years.
they had 4 or 5 guys scoring goals. They had Pizarro, Pulido, Saldivar with a handful,
I need to know
Pulido
who
with
you're
like 7
talking
goals.
about. I thought you were talking about when
I'm talking
it
about
was
Chivas,
Bravo. No, but see, I'm talking
but
about
they
Bravo
haven't had a
because
consistent goal scorer. Even once Bravo left, you had Chicharo have that wonder season where he would have been campeón de goleo, but Aguirre
well,
called him up to sit him on the bench,
he was,
and he was
he tied it with
co-campeón.
Herc.
He was
Yeah,
co-champion, but he would have ran away with that thing. Chivas probably could have been champions.
yeah.
But I don't think it's just I think it's a systemic problem, Jolie. You want to say, oh, they need a guy to finish to push it in the net. They have those
Yes.
guys. They've been doing it.
No, but
What's
I
his
said they
name?
have like that
Cor-
goleador because look, and I was saying
Dude,
about
they had the players. They had the players.
el cambia no deja hablar. I still think you need that one
Which one?
quality attacker that
Oh,
can make the
Messi.
difference.
You
No,
want
no,
Messi
just
or
no,
Ronaldo?
man. Like Furch for Santos. You don't have to go that far. But so I was saying with Bravo, even though he
Fuchs?
wasn't like
So
he,
if Furch was naturalizado, Joel, would Chivas have him on the squad?
no, but if he was born in Mexico instead of
In
Argentina,
in
he
Mo-
would
in
be
Monclova,
How does that saying go? How does that saying go? Si mi tía tuviera huevos.
fuera mi tío. But
Yeah,
cambia,
no mames,
man.
Jolie.
Here, look, let me
No
just
mames, Jolie.
let me make my point, man. You keep interrupting me and then changing the goalpost.
You're
yeah,
flip
you
Mira,
flopping. That's what I'm.
I'm
pinche
not
you
flip
You know
flopping.
when John Kerry lost
How
the
am I flip
election
flopping if you don't let me
because
finish?
he was flip flopping, man.
Cambia,
That's why he
man.
lost the election. You just lost the
No,
election, man.
no way. Look, so Bravo was pretty much he was like consistent in that he would score minimum like five goals per season. And then
But
on
you've
his
had
good
that the
season,
past 3
he would
seasons.
he
nothing.
would score.
But I
He
think
would
what Joel's point is, if you wouldn't mind, Joel, is that Chivas might have a guy that scores what you're saying, Cambio Reyes, but it's one guy and it's a different guy each season. What Joel is
Well,
saying
you should
is
say
that
it.
they need a guy that scores
yes,
at least 5 goals every season.
yes,
But they've
And
had
the
that.
same guy do
They,
it. No,
they,
no, 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 no. The same guy.
the
so you
same
think
guy. Yes,
Same guy.
having it be a different guy changes a lot? Because to
Yes.
me, it doesn't change much if you still have one guy. You know.
no, because in
It,
Cambia you go add if this guy is
think
good for 5 goals a season, and then every other season he's gonna score 9 or 12, and then you have this other guy that's gonna have a good season too. Now you have two dudes, and then you go add, and
so.
now
What
you
you're
have more than
saying?
20 goals between them, as opposed to right now Chivas has one dude with 5 and 3 with just 2 goals, and then
So
just
I
to make
think
the
I think on game day they could dress 18. Now what you're saying is out of 18, you want two guys that are good, right, on the field out of 11.
no mames, way. I'm
So
looking for consistency, way. The more consistent players you have, the better chances you have of winning a
hey,
match.
Jolie, So what you're saying is, if you change 2 or 3 of the starting 11, send them to the bench, and they had 2 or 3 quality starters replace them, or above the standard right now, you'd have a better team that could compete for the championship. So
yeah, you know what?
dude,
Chivas came close to
hold
winning
on.
a few games.
Hold on.
That
Let's
if
back
they
the truck up. Hold on. Let's back the truck up.
Hey, wait, hang on.
Didn't you say? Didn't you criticize?
Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second.
Because
Well,
Jolie,
no.
you wanted Almeida fired because he said the squad was not competitive the way it was built.
Time to mute.
And now you want to add 2 or 3 guys that are consistent, dude.
Profe. Let's pump the brakes on the Chivas talk.
Hey man, you're rustling my jimmies over here, Jolie, with your flip flopping, man.
What?
I'm like triggered, dude.
Flip
like, you seen the picture of that guy that's like shaking? That GIF? That's me, dude.
He's a dude turning his hand into a fist.
You come in here, profe, and just start throwing grenades.
Hey, who made you king of this? How's it go?
Who made you pope of this dump?
Yeah, who made you pope of this dump?
Hey, last season though, Alan Pulido scored more goals than Julio Furch. So when you talk about consistency, I sort of can see Cambia's point. As long as you have 1 or 2 guys that are able to provide some goal scoring, maybe they're not consistent, but as a team as a whole, as long as there's enough goals being scored by those forwards.
But the one season that he said he had like 3 and 4 guys that scored 6, 7 goals. When was the last time Chivas did that?
It was Clausura when they were champions. But my bone to pick with Jolie is that he's saying that the team's not good enough as built, and he pretty much criticized Almeida for making that comment and refusing to ride along with the expectations that Cambiagatos, Higuera, and was putting on him. And so, but now Jolie's coming back and repeating what Almeida said in his own way, but he's basically saying, hey, the squad as built is not good enough. Point blank. That's what Jolie said.
I didn't say the squad wasn't good enough. I said they're lacking a goleador.
Oh,
I said that they would have had that goleador.
The squad as built doesn't have a consistent goal scorer. Big difference.
Yeah, they haven't had one.
As built. So you would like a goal scorer. So you want to sign like a Furch or somebody, that they should have had.
No, I mean, well, that was supposed to be Pulido,
so now you're backtracking.
He's like, look, with Saldivar, since you mentioned him, and I've been holding on to this for 10 minutes. He does have 5 goals, but then Clausura.
Okay, so would you change any of the players on the squad, or you keep them? You keep them all. You go to war with the squad you have.
I'll keep them because some of them are young, like Godinez, and some of these guys, and they just need more playing time. Some of them, they haven't had that much playing time. So last season, Saldivar only played 3 games due to injury, but he was
injured last season. He started the season injured.
Yeah, he's only had 2 seasons where he scored 5 goals. 2016 Apertura, and then this season where he might be able to break it. So I mean, that would be a win if he could maybe get to 8.
I mean,
by the end of the season.
Godinez has like he has the build, the size. I mean, he's an interested prospect. But then you get into what's the priority for?
I mean, isn't Godinez already like 22?
Yeah, he's
I mean, if he's 22 and he's still
21, yeah.
That's young for Liga MX.
and then you have JJ Macias. He's come in, score a few bangers. He's not that much. I mean, he's a little bit shorter. He's 19. You got Saldivar at 24 that still hasn't had his breakout season, but
Saldivar is going to be on the World Cup just by default. Porque no hay goles.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the point that I mean, that's the issue with Chivas. Like, which prospect do they focus on? Do they focus on the guy that has JJ Macias, who's 21? He's a lot younger, and he's got a nice build to be a true 9, in el área. Or do they work on? They keep giving Saldivar run of games.
Okay, look. I'm just really quick, just to finish my point. I'm going through Furch. I'm going through Furch, the goals that Furch scores since 2015. So he was in Veracruz. 10 goals in Clausura 2015. 8 goals in Apertura 2015. 4 goals in Clausuras 2016. 6 goals in Apertura 2016. Then he scored 5 goals his first season at Santos, and
Okay.
then he had 2 seasons at 9 and one at 11.
Let
But
me ask you something,
but
Jolie.
but like an
Is
average,
he creating his own goals, or
it
is
doesn't
there
matter.
yeah, it
Doesn't
matters.
matter.
It
He was
absolutely
at
matters.
Veracruz, dude.
No,
Come on.
How many
it's,
goals?
I think it matters a little.
How many chances does he get to shoot on goal? Let's say for his how many shots did he have for his last seasons? I think it matters. Whoever his creative
Look,
midfielders are, they matter, Jolie. You can't
he
just
was dude. He was in Veracruz. Come on, and his average was still way better than what Chivas has. Veracruz, come on, dude. They don't
so
even get paid.
so
They don't
I
even
mean,
get they get paid in beer
but there's
and
no Furch for
sabritas.
Chivas. Chivas has no Furch. What do you? What's the point of the comparison?
That was the whole point of the comparison. Is that Chivas doesn't have a Furch.
That's
That
exactly
Yeah.
the point. So the
No,
team
but
as Bill is not competitive, Jolie.
no, look, I'm saying this guy in a regular season, he's good for at least, if I were to average it,
Yeah.
I would
So
say
you're saying is Chivas
about
should have a
7
player like that.
goals.
Chivas should
The
have
go
a Furch,
average, well, they
right?
should have more than one, but I'm saying that it has hurt them not being able to have a player that could do that. That even if
So
the
the
team is
squad's not
playing
good
bad,
enough. The
he's
squad's
gonna.
not good enough.
No, it's not the squad. It's just this
Then
is
what
a
is it?
bigger problem where it's like Mexico doesn't produce many attacking players. You don't really see that many attacking Mexicans. I
I-
mean,
Isn't
what's his
Chivas
face?
a cantera team? You had this,
They are, but we just
Jose Luis Real running the cantera for 20 years. Where's the strikers?
well, they're gone. He said Toluca. Wait for Toluca, man. Give him 2 more years. See what happens there.
Where's that 25-year-old striker that Chivas should have right now?
Hey, Vela and Cheech both went to Europe.
Okay, can we go back to what we were talking about now that we got all your? Have you guys gotten all your?
All
Yes,
your Jimmys,
Yeah,
all your Jimmys have
Jolie
been
wants
ruffled.
better players on Chivas, so he's saying the squad is not good enough.
Oh yeah, look, I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk. I'm
indirectly.
not going to waste more show time
All
on a
right.
team that only has one home win this season. Yeah,
No mind.
yeah,
one home there.
yeah.
Savage.
Se
Jesus,
acabó,
Jolie.
se acabó. Se acabó. All right. So,
Hey, who made you pump for this dump?
so here we go. Glad to have you with us, Prophet. So on Saturday we have, as Chigis had pointed out like 3 hours ago, that Pachuca's playing Necaxa. America's playing Toluca, which anybody who listens to the show knows that Ron, our resident Americanista, for whatever reason, just does not like Toluca, and in fact he says it really pains him to lose to Toluca. So let's hope that Toluca wins this weekend against America.
It rustles his Jaimes.
Big time. Monterrey plays Veracruz, and Lobos plays Tijuana, so that game's really not that important. Of course, the game of the weekend is coming up.
I think he got beat up at the stadium. That's gonna be my my guess on why he hates Toluca so much. He started a fight with a Diablo Rojo, and
maybe he had some bad chorizo when he was in Toluca, and it's never.
Oh man, chorizo poisoning.
He's never gotten over it. Okay, so the game of the week is UNAM Cruz Azul Sunday high noon at CEU. But I think what's going to end up happening is usually we have a game like that, it's going to kind of fall flat and end up 0-0. Querétaro, which I think Querétaro is still, they're still very much alive. They have 19 points. They are going up against Santos, which, as we know, is at the top of the league. And then the a quien importa game is Atlas León. Sunday at 6. That's like the one the filler to the relleno to fill out the rest of the schedule. So, profe,
Yes, sir.
I asked Joel this question, and he said that that it had already happened. So back to Chivas. They have 16 points. They have 16 points. They're mathematically still alive. But if they lose to Puebla, should Chivas fans just go ahead and then pay their respects and put the flowers down and have and make, since tomorrow is the Dia de los Muertos, should they put the ofrenda out tonight or wait until after the game?
Refresh my memory. Is this game at home or away?
No, it's in Puebla.
You know, Chivas they've done in the past. They've done well on the road, better than they've done at home. But man, you know, it's a tough season. I'm gonna say they win tomorrow. I mean, they win, John. So,
oof. So Chivas fans are gonna have at least one more week of
agony.
Exactly.
Delayed disappointment.
So basically, what's happening here to Chivas is by winning, profe. It's like when your family member's in a coma, and like they open their eyes for 3 seconds, and you think that they're going to come out of it. That's what's going to happen if Chivas wins. It's just prolonging the inevitable. Because as you know, profe, back in Jornada 2, after Chivas had lost the first two matches of the season, Joel said that Chivas fans should go on loan for the rest of the season because I believe that Joel's exact words were "Esta temporada ya valió madre," was what he said. Back in the Jornada 2.
I think I remember telling you that they're gonna make the liguilla and they're gonna be champions.
You did, right? So you still hold to your assertion that the Chivas will they have to win all 3 games. So they have in addition to winning against Puebla, you're saying that the Chivas is also going to. I have to go all the way down. Good, they're way down to the table. I realize they were that far down. That they're going to have to beat León and then beat Tigres. So Chivas Tigres could essentially be for the last for the eighth slot, and it's in. See, this is bad news for Chivas fans. It's in Guadalajara.
For the last game.
Yeah, and as we know, they do not win. They do not win in Guadalajara.
But they you know, John, the next 2 games are on the road. They're away games, and 3 of their wins have been away games. Although the Clásico Tapatio, you could call it a home game. It was officially an away game, and I think that bodes well. You're right. The last game against Tigres, anything could happen. Tigres
playing
might
in a
rest
stadium that they've only won twice, 2 games since they won their championship.
Ever, basically.
2 games since they won their championship. A stadium que no pesa para nada.
Yeah, that's the thing that but I think they'll pull through, and once you make the liguilla, all bets are off, right?
All right, so you say Chivas makes it. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, let me put your Liga MX talk on the little small screen and bust out the MLS big screen. LAFC. LAFC is down 2-3. Real Salt Lake scored 2 goals to come back and take the lead.
What minute is this, Chiquis?
Both goals were deflection goals too.
72nd.
Oh.
And both goals were off deflections for Real. Actually, I'm sorry. The second goal was a veritable like karate kick golazo.
Yeah.
It was
we call those Jolie style.
But all these 2 goals were like
when it's a deflected goal, we call it Jolie style.
Confusion on the LAFC defense is just caused it. They're like balls bouncing all over, rebound, and then they finally scored with a karate kick. And then
They're
this
bringing
last
that.
one.
They're bringing that Mexican dude next season.
Oh,
Alanis. What was it? No, what was his name? Yeah, was it Osvaldo Alanis?
Yeah, Osvaldo
The guy,
Alanis.
the guy that went to Spain and got treated like a gordifea, dude.
Yeah, they didn't want him after all. Getafe.
Yeah, they took one look and it's like, oh, you weren't like your profile pic. got stood up.
The filters.
do they call it? Do they call that ghosting them? Like they ghosted them or something? Is that how they use it?
No, well, they saw him. He got there. They saw him, and they're like, "What is this, man?"
He catfished them.
He
He put a picture of the German guy. Almost. He put a picture of Matt Hummels.
So he's like in second division. But yeah, I could see him coming over here,
LAFC
man.
just missed an open net.
Gene.
Is that an Almeida team?
Wow.
Almeida plays next season, so we'll see how good he does with the Quakes.
So in MLS so far, FC Dallas has lost. The Red Bulls lost. And
FC Energy Drink.
Yeah,
DC United.
DC United lost.
LAFC didn't even qualify.
And LA Galaxy didn't make it. LAFC is in it.
Or LA Galaxy, that's what I meant.
And they're on the verge of being there, 15 minutes away from being eliminated.
So it's just one game, John. That was surprising me. It's a one-off.
They do for the first. They had 6 teams qualify, and for in each conference, and then the top 2 get a bye, and then the remaining 4 play a straight up one-off.
Hey, that's pretty good, man.
And I think it's great.
Hey, they should do that with Liga MX with the Liguilla instead of being the whole 8. You know.
I agree 100%. I think it would make it would make those games a lot more entertaining.
I gotta disagree. I gotta say they gotta go full reverse and just do the general table. Top
they're
2
not.
wins.
They're not going.
That's
to
never
that.
gonna happen.
Chiquis, yeah, John made me see the light, and I was like, he's right.
Okay.
They're not.
Right, they
Televisoras are not as much as I want. So the best we could hope for is a more exciting Liguilla, a more, and I think
that's 2 games though. That for me, that's 2 games. Ida y vuelta is more exciting than this.
No, man, that's more exciting because it's like you want your team to finish higher.
Muerte, man. Yeah,
and then it's vida o muerte game. Not you get a second chance in case you messed up. Nah, man, it's a one-off, and I bet you ratings would improve. So if we could copy one thing from the MLS besides shootouts, this would be it, man.
Well, as great as this is for for MLS to have this little setup, unfortunately, the Fecha FIFA comes right in the middle of their playoffs, so they take like a month off.
kill off some of that.
Yeah,
they're
to destroy whatever momentum your team has. It just disappears. So unfortunately, and then the other unfortunate thing is that like they go up against just a really really tough part of the schedule, and at least in the U.S. sports calendar with with NFL and college football and basketball and hockey all at the same time. It's just it's rough.
Yeah, they're getting quite the beatdown, and then they have to compete against Champions League and Premier League and
exactly
La Liga. Because dude, when I started watching, it was just you just had Mexican League and Univision, 1 game a week.
That's it.
And then when Telemundo came, Telemundo wasn't even showing live games. They would show on Saturdays. They had like
with the same canned audio for the crowd.
I bet only you picked up on that, John. I was like, no wonder. I was like, this Liga MX crowd sounds really hyped.
Do you remember that Nintendo game? Was it audio from that Nintendo game? There was a Nintendo game where you had Denmark and a bunch of the World Cup countries. It wasn't like FIFA. It was whatever it was before FIFA.
There was quite a few.
That's true. I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember.
no, but Saturdays they had like they were fun games because they would have like a game of the week type of thing,
Right.
and it could be Serie A, it could be La Liga, it could be
It's
a
from all over the world.
Libertadores,
Yeah.
but I love those matches, man, because it was always like really fun games. Yeah, but
One of the most
now,
entertaining
man,
ones I ever saw on one of those was before the '86 World Cup in Poland was doing a tour of South America before they went to Mexico to play friendlies, and they played River Plate when they had Enzo Francescoli,
oh man,
the Uruguayan
That's-
player,
that's Zidane's idol.
and so
Yeah, he named one of his kids Enzo.
when Poland goes up like 3-1 in the last by 83rd minute. The game ended up 5-4 River Plate. We just went totally bananas in the last 10 minutes. Yeah, it was really crazy. Absolutely just bonkers crazy. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Enzo Francesco play. I think he got a hat trick in the last 2 or 3 minutes. It was an incredible game.
Yeah, I got to see him play because of Beto Aspe when Beto Aspe went to River, and Enzo was there. So I was like, whoa, that dude was something else. Yeah, but so before it was like you didn't really get soccer on TV, and now you
Like
go
80
watch
games a
the
week.
whole La Liga season, man. You go watch EPL and all that, and that just hurts MLS.
Well, I think it does, but it doesn't in the sense that they're not directly competing against them time wise because the La Liga and all that stuff is always on either early in the morning, at the latest mid afternoon, and most MLS games are on at night. And I think where MLS suffers is that they don't have like when they do national games, it seems like they're always on at different times. Like they don't have like the one day where they have like Wednesday night or Friday night or whatever it is, like where they would have try to make a big deal about having a national game. I think that's where MLS is lacking right now in their presentation as far as getting it going. Yes, Juan.
Well, what I was gonna say is, you think MLS? To me, it seems like, at least on the surface, what I've seen is MLS is really targeting like the family, the suburban soccer mom and dad, and
No, they're targeting everybody, dude. That's
you think so?
They are targeting. They want stadiums downtown. They are targeting the 20-something millennial. I mean, they want to get the other ones too. Don't get me wrong, but they want the audience that walks to the games.
Are they targeting comic book guy?
It was comic book guy, not a soccer fan.
They're targeting
That's true. Joey's a soccer fan.
Former high school soccer player. That's who they're targeting. And soccer mom is just like the result of the fans. You can see it in the stands. So you are partly right.
That's what I'm saying. Like I mean, some of the stadiums, like LA Galaxy, is more of a a casual soccer mom and take the kids, and so the kids grow up. Oh, hey, we got professional soccer here, and then maybe the downtown teams are for like the hardcore, which brings up, I think, I mean, I don't know, but there's a point Jolie said that they're trying to have two teams in every city so they can have derbies, or and I guess you could see it that way. Like in Mexico, right? You had the snobs were all Atlas fans, and then the poor people, the farmers, they were all Chivas fans, right? I got my history correct?
Yes.
Or is it backwards?
No,
Is it backwards?
Académicos. No, you're absolutely right. Atlas used to be for the more affluent of the Guadalajara peoples, and Chivas was the peons.
Don't say hardcore though when you describe MLS fan.
Come on, dude. You haven't seen that video of that guy, the fight and win video?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's pretty hardcore, man.
Although apparently some of the LAFC was it Fools Gone Wild? they were they were causing a ruckus on one of the previous games. I forget what they did, like fighting and stuff.
Well, I'm waiting for them to make it like Tex that the Cowboy Stadium where they got dance platforms for the cheerleaders. That'll sell me.
Yeah.
Don't they already have that?
Chivas used to have it. Chivas USA, they had cheerleaders.
They did. One
Liga
of them
MX
came
has
out
that.
in MTV's Next. I don't know if you guys ever saw that dating game. It was called Next. She came out.
Were you on there? Were you a contestant?
Nah, man. I
Oh.
just saw it on the.
The only one I remember was Singled Out.
I remember, but I never really saw it.
With the guy from Nerdist.
Hey, you know what? You know those cheerleaders? They made one mistake with them. Chivas USA played the New England Revolution in the Coliseum right before Chivas played Barcelona, and they had the cheerleaders walk through all the fans, through the stands from the top all the way to the bottom. And if you ever been to Coliseum, Jolie could probably tell you more about the type of environment it is.
I've actually been to the Coliseum with
Yes, he has.
Boyd.
Yes, we've been
Oh,
there.
that's right. It gets pretty rowdy. The people, they get pretty wild, man, pretty crazy. And the cheerleader outfits are already pretty small, so you can imagine how much smaller they got as they went through this rowdy crowd that's already drunk, and yeah, man, those poor girls.
I remember that incident.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah.
You were there?
I don't remember, dude.
Do you still have a piece of the cloth that you
No. I don't have a Me Too moment, man. Calm down.
That's toxic, man. So toxic.
Yeah, Juwan.
Oh yeah, never mind. Sorry. No, dude, but it was bad, dude. It was crazy. But yeah, I do, John.
Yeah.
I'll mail it to you.
Oh, you do? Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So does LAFC pull this thing out here?
What do you got? 5 minutes left?
They do. They have a corner kick right now. I think they do. I think they got the goal. And then they go to penalties and lose in penalties.
What's the score again?
It's 3-2.
Oh, is Vela having a great game?
He's playing okay, but he's he's not.
He got a good assist on one of the goals, but he hasn't been as involved as he should be.
Yeah, I think it's one of these situations where he has an expectation that his team is going to do a certain thing, and it's not. But we'll see what happens. For an expansion for a first-year team to make it this far, and to be competitive the whole season is pretty good. So
and they broke the record for most points scored by a new franchise.
Who had the record?
Probably Chicago, but I'm not sure. But they have it now. So I mean,
it wasn't Atlanta last year.
Oh, could have been. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I think it was.
I just said Chicago because they went on to win it, but they were less teams back then. So yeah, I would go with Atlanta too. But I mean, if you see that squad, they got some decent players. I think if they, if they 2 or 3, they pick up 2 or 3 other guys in the off season, they should be once again, or they should be contenders.
You know,
Yeah, but
maybe
they're gonna get at least
It-
5 minutes to.
You know, you
Yeah,
know what?
they need Vela.
I, I didn't come onto the show, but a few weeks back, my team played Zlatan's kids team,
Oh,
and Zlatan's kids scored on us, man.
I did.
were they like tall like him, like 6 foot
No,
five?
no, dude, he's probably a late bloomer, so he's not that tall. Um, and I won't tell you the score, but it got a little embarrassing. I told my peers at halftime, hey, you guys need to step it up. Zlatan's like watching you guys. He was behind one of the goals, and so one of my, I mean, I was trying to pump them up and get them kind of
You went
re-geared.
Bonini on them.
Yeah, kind of a little bit,
Good.
and it was funny because they walked into the field and one of my players goes, "Hey, Zlatan, what's up?" and I was like, "Fuck, I should." I regretted it. We regretted telling them because, we were kind of trying to respect the guy's privacy a little bit. I'm sure he gets swamped everywhere he goes in LA, or at least some places that if they recognize him. So he was in the back. He had a Dodgers hat on, and so that
Speaking of the Dodgers, are you okay, Juan?
I'm okay. I think we got to check on Dan though, because
We haven't heard from Dan in like over a week. Poor guy.
Yeah, he's a big time hardcore Dodger fan. I think he's
when the Lakers fail, we'll console Juan.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit more painful.
So in mid April, when they don't make the playoffs,
they're gonna make the playoffs, dude. They got a new squad. What do you
When Steph Curry embarrasses LeBron, we'll console Juan.
Okay, let's put some money on it.
Let's do it.
All right, a little wager. No, but I think the Lakers they're gonna do better as the season progresses. I mean, they got like 7 new players that they signed and like the draft picks and stuff. So pretty much they got only like 5 existing players from last year. So I don't expect smooth sailing right away. Oh yeah.
I swear I hear that and I think it's Dan. I don't know why, but it's very strange.
Yeah, man, you always call me Dan. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
I think that is Dan calling him Dan. Is that you?
No, you say it a lot. So I know it's like a little gag you got going, so it's fine.
No, I don't. I mean, if I do
dude,
that,
even Dan, like he laughs when he hears these. Like, I'm not sure if you're making fun of our accents or.
Well, you guys do have very funny accents. I'm not
the little cholo accents.
Although some are more pronounced than others, I will say that.
I know Jolie's is the worst.
Oh,
I got the what is it called, Chickies? The foos.
The foos gone wild accent. Hey, but
he's got the Bobcat Goldthwait.
If it's up to Vela, you guys might have another guy that people in LA won't recognize. Antoine Graceman says he wants to go play in MLS to retire.
I could see him linking up with Vela again.
Yeah, that might be a good combo.
That would be a great combo.
Yeah, they could watch Laker games together.
Oof. That's right. They could go to the Lakers, but he must be just ecstatic that LeBron is. Because wasn't he a big Miami Heat fan when LeBron was over there? So he's probably.
Hey,
there they go again.
He's a cambiacostas.
Well, look, he got to see a World Series, even if the Dodgers lost. He got to,
twice.
Yeah, he's living it up.
The fool's gone wild throwing drinks at Rimondo and he's crying again. But oh dang,
dude just got kicked right in the face. I think.
Yeah.
Ouch. Took a cleat to the head. Oof. That
To a bald head. He's gonna have an adventure.
yeah, he's gonna have a knot for sure. Hopefully, the dude's not concussed. So, do we have any other pressing news? Profe, are you? So you say Chivas now, Profe? Out of the 8 teams that are, is there someone other than Chivas you think that if Chivas didn't win it, it's going to be this other team? Or does your knowledge not extend beyond the red and white stripes? Did we lose, Profe?
I'm still here though, Yon. They have they have that Chivas TV connection.
That's right. He is a Chivas TV member, so
no, I think we pretty much went through the whole
list of topics.
No, I'm just curious because I know the Profe has made his recommendations that not only will Chivas make the Liguilla, but will also win the title. I'm just curious if he had any.
Oh, his phone died. Yeah, he disconnected. His phone died. His just a remnant.
He had gotten the over triggered on my Chiva talk.
It was getting very heated.
But it's sometimes it's sort of like you're not gonna have the same expectations. So if you're the coach for a club for 2 years, then I have more expectations on how you're gonna lead a squad than if you just came in and it's your first season and you only have a few months with the team. So I mean, given how Chivas lost all these top players, they're still doing way better than they did last season when they were at the bottom. They were like 17th. I mean, and they're not. They've been bad, but they still have a mathematical chance, and even though I don't see them qualifying, I could see them maybe finishing closer, closer to the qualification zone. And if a dude like Saldivar can score more than 5 goals, then that would be one of his better seasons. It would be his best season as a striker. He's already equaled it. He just needs one more goal to have like his best season as a goleador. So I mean, there's some positives there.
So Cardoso should stay on then.
I would leave him. I think he did a good job. I think he did a good job with what he had to work. I feel that the team let him down a few times because there were games where they dominated, where they had the upper hand. They just weren't able to finish it. They weren't able to score, and that ended up hurting them in the long run. And they did good against some, like their away game at Toluca, and they had one game against Santos. They had at least 3 games where they should have done better. And I think right now they would have been at a better spot, but shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That's exactly right, Joel. It's you're talking about consistent goal scoring. Like you're saying, if they can get 6 goals in 17 games, Cardoso would score 8 goals in a year, and he did it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, just on Liguilla alone.
And Jared did that a few times too. I mean, those guys are. I mean, that is, goal scorers like that just don't come around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing with not having a player like that, because you want that player that could pull a goal out of his ass, and sometimes you see teams where they won a match where they should have lost, or they tied a game where they had no business tying just because they had this one dude that was able to, make a difference or score in that one opportunity. And yeah, it's helpful like that. Just let's say you had maybe 2 or 3 games where that's all you were missing. That could make the difference between being in the league and not being in the league.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, it's been Chivas really needs to work on that. They really need. They do have this one young kid. He played youth with Linus. I forget his name, but because he hasn't really played with the first team, but he's expected to be, Chivas hope. But man, that's all the team has right now. Just expectations. They really do need like a proven commodity, and uh, if they could pull off bringing Chicharo, that would be really great. Now, I think you're more positive of that happening, Yon, than I am.
Well, I am. I just don't think that living in the States is
Yeah,
as important to Chicharo as it is to other folks. And
yeah. Well, it's like you said, his family. He's really close to his family, his grandparents, and all that.
right. So I do think that Chicharo will end up, of course, he probably will end up like an Atlas or.
No,
No, I could see him either at Chivas or Morelia. I think that's where Chicharo will probably, because he grew up in Morelia.
he did, but I mean, if you see who could pay him, he makes upwards of six. Wasn't it? I think like 7 million a year.
Don't forget who owns Morelia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can't even race Atlas, so I do think. But I could see like maybe a Tigres or a Rayados, you know, because that's about what Gignac makes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's about the same. It's not reported, but it makes up there. Bueno,
So
chavos.
it's over in Los Angeles, Joel.
Yeah,
LAFC did not get
the
their
dream is over.
goal. That's right.
And
It's back to the same old. I'm sure just as MLS wants it. All the teams that don't have anybody are moving on.
other two chanfles.
That's
Chanfles.
right.
Well, it's over for me too.
Yeah,
Aquí
me too.
ya tengo que colgar los botines for tonight. But hopefully we could do a Sunday fun day here at the cantina.
I think I'll be able
Si se
to.
puede.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. But Chiquis, thanks again for setting all this up.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for coming on.
And Joel, and thanks to El Profe Juan Uribe for coming on and
Yes,
and,
getting
and
Russell.
hijacking the show for a few minutes there with this Chivas talk. And thanks to you, Joel, for hopping on as well.
Always.
And
Always a pleasure to be on.
Oh, thank you, and thanks to our loyal listeners who have tuned in. We do appreciate your patronage and your loyalty, and please tell your friends about us, where you can follow us on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and of course subscribe to our podcast. My name is John Jagu, and we will talk to you guys next week.